On Alaska's Bering Sea, an experienced crew suddenly vanishes.
It was like that.
Leaving investigators baffled.
All of a sudden, it just disappears.
What happened to those guys?
We had no eyewitnesses, and we had no vessel.
They uncover a string of clues
It's kind of like following a trail of breadcrumbs.
leading up to the final moments of a disaster.
All those factors accumulated at that one single spot and time.
That would leave a community stunned.
It was just a total shock.
Everybody felt their own mortality. It could happen to me.
Off the coast of Alaska, the 33-meter fishing boat Destination is heading northwest across the frigid Bering Sea. The captain is Jeff Hathaway. He's been in command of the Destination for 23 years.
Jeff was very savvy fisherman, very, very intelligent and smart, and he just had a knack for it.
Confident and meticulous, just the kind of captain you want to work for.
Opelio crab season is underway. 64 boats are carving up these waters, soaking their pots again and again, looking for that big money haul. For the crews, it's weeks of rough seas, brutal cold, and back-breaking work. The captain can't wait to get at it.
Jeff, he could find them. He could find them in a mud puddle. A lot of people fought to get a job on that boat.
You can have huge seasons, you make six-figure paychecks, or you could not make anything. You never know. That's part of the romance of it.
Destination is heading from Dutch Harbor to the crabbing grounds, more than 400 kilometers to the north.
Hey, Lario.
Veteran fisherman Larry O'Grady has been with the ship almost as long as the captain.
Lunch is up, so we should get something to eat.
Sounds good. Keep her heading, okay?
You got it.
Thanks, sir.
If you met Larry, you'd never, ever forget him. He was a personality that was bigger than life. He always was there to help someone. If you didn't know how to do something, he was willing to teach you.
The other 4 crew members aboard are ship's engineer Charles Glenn Jones and deckhands Raymond Vinsler, Derek Seibold, and Kai Hammock.
Well done.
They've just finished a grueling month fishing for cod.
You know, you had the perfect combination of youth and experience on that boat. They were the best of the best, hardest working group of guys I've ever met.
Well, hey.
We hate each other, love each other, want to hit each other. It was like a big family.
The next video, we're gonna make like a series of life on the ship.
My brother, Derek. Somebody I definitely looked up to. He's full life, committed and dedicated to his son, his family.
Welcome to the Destination.
Tell our adoring fans at home what you got going on here.
Kai, he was kind of a prankster. He was the only one smart enough to figure out how to run a video camera.
So to catch crab, you need crab pots. 700 pounds of pure joy.
And we're always filming stuff and, you know, trying to make ourselves look like movie stars.
And each and every one of these guys, see?
Ground up sardines or herring.
Now this is our secret recipe. Yeah, it's how we ring the dinner bell in Alaska.
Everybody's got their own particular bait that they think is the best.
Where your crab comes from, it's us. Hey. All right, this is it. See you on the next one, guys. All right.
The Destination's deck can support 224 crab pots. 3 massive fish holds can carry about 110,000 kilograms of catch. Forward is the galley, crew quarters, and wheelhouse.
It was just a battle axe, a work machine. It was a good boat to work on.
In the coming days, they'll be dropping their pots, hoping to hit a motherload of crab.
I like to think of it as fishing for like a herd animal. They're like you're on the Serengeti trying to catch wildebeest, and they're moving. They're They're constantly moving, they're constantly grazing. So you're trying to follow this vein of crab.
If they find the crab, it's a big payday.
You're making money hand over fist. It's a great feeling.
But the Bering Sea doesn't give up its catch easily.
You got tropical storms coming up from Asia, and then you got cold weather coming from the north, which is kind of a good recipe for really bad weather.
It's a beautiful hell is what it is. It's not uncommon to fish in 50-mile-an-hour winds, 20, 30-foot waves, and if you're an adrenaline junkie, it's a perfect job for you.
As destination travels farther north, the Bering Sea begins to show its teeth.
Picked up out there. You want to take the boys out, check the stacks. I want everything nice and tight.
Yeah, okay, will do.
It's your drop.
Hey, fellas, it's looking a little dodgy out there. Let's get out there and tighten up the stack.
Oh, no, because I had you beat, and you know it.
With the motion of the ocean, the pots will shift, and your chains might loosen up, so you gotta tighten them from time to time. A couple guys will climb up on the stacks, usually with life jackets, and tighten the chains up. Helps the pots from shifting and potentially falling overboard.
Soon, they'll be launching those pots over the side, and the heavy work will begin.
Usually at night or in the morning when they would run to the fishing grounds, Jeff always let the crew sleep so that they were ready to work.
Destination hugs the coast of St. George Island, leaving it behind just before 6 a.m. off the northwest tip called Delnoy Point.
Once you pass Delnoy Point, you're back in the open water.
There's not a whole lot of protection there. The weather can be a little bit more extreme. It can change really quick.
They've weathered this rough patch many times before, but not this time.
Fishing vessel destination. This is Coast Guard aircraft, channel 16.
At 6:15 a.m., the Coast Guard receives a signal from destination's emergency beacon. It's triggered when submerged in water.
Usually, more times than not, it means, okay, the boat's sunk.
Fishing vessel destination. This is United States Coast Guard.
Whether they're floating in the water, or in the life raft, or in their survival suits, nobody knows.
The Coast Guard rescue team is more than 2 hours away.
Destination, this is Silver Spray.
Nearby vessels are asked to help in the search.
Around 6:30, they called us up on the Silver Spray and asked us to call out to the destination on our VHF radio.
Captain Bill Prout, aboard the crab boat Silver Spray, responds immediately.
Destination, this is Silver Spray. Please come in.
We tried hailing on the radio a few more times.
Destination, this is Silver Spray.
No response. There's something not right here.
Destination, this is Silver Spray. Come in.
Captain Prout knows if Destination's crew is in trouble in these frigid waters, every passing minute could mean the difference between life and death.
Destination, this is Silver Spray. Do you copy?
On the Bering Sea,
Fishing vessel destination. This is Coast Guard aircraft, channel 16.
it's been nearly 4 hours since the fishing vessel Destination's distress signal. Coast Guard aircraft have arrived off St. George Island and are sweeping the area. Captain Bill Prout of the Silver Spray has been on the scene since before sunrise. He's still hoping to find the missing crew.
You're constantly looking there too. You're looking for maybe somebody in a survival suit swimming, maybe seeing a flare and just not knowing. My crew, they're up in the wheelhouse, they're out on the back deck. You just keep looking and looking. Okay, we're gonna find a life raft. We're gonna find them here. It's quite a thing when you're searching for something and you can't find them and you know they're right there. We start seeing some debris. We find a life ring. A wave hit it and flipped that life ring over. And then you see the word destination on it. Then we're kind of realizing something did happen. The Coast Guard helicopter was directing us to a couple pieces of debris. We found the EPIRB. That is the emergency beacon. It was taped to a piece of line that was maybe about 30 feet long. Well, that didn't get taped by itself. Somebody had gotten the EPIRB and taped that on there, maybe was trying to hang on to it. It is surreal. This happened quite a while ago, and you start thinking about it, go, wow, it's still very touching. Your heart sinking right with these people as you look.
A crab boat from Seattle vanishes in the Bering Sea. Rescue teams searching now for the 6 crew members.
The Coast Guard has 2 helicopters searching from the air. They also have 2 Good Samaritan fishing vessels helping them on the water. But at this hour, still no sign of any of those crew members.
The air and sea search continues for more than 3 days.
Standing next to a phone, waiting for the Coast Guard to call you for any updates, it's unbearable. Probably took 10 years off of my life, you know, that kind of stress and concern for my friends.
Roger, rescue check is complete, ready for 1.
I was still hoping and praying that they'd find a life raft, you know, even days after the fact.
Everybody has hope. We're gonna find them just before it gets dark out. We're gonna see a light and all that. You're still bringing all these scenarios in there, and none of them came true.
This sad update on the search for that Seattle crab boat that vanished in Alaska. The Coast Guard called off its search for the destination last night.
I made it home and I'm safe, and then I heard about this, just too close to home.
He's been fishing in Alaska for close to 30 years. Whatever did happen happened very fast.
The captain and all 5 crew are presumed dead. It's the worst accident in the Alaska crabbing industry in more than a decade.
Oh, it's heart-wrenching. You know, it's heart-wrenching, especially good crew and great captain, and so it was just a total shock.
I pray that they were all in their bunks, sleeping, not knowing what was going to happen. I did not want Larry to know he was going to drown. I just didn't want him to know.
Losing my brother has been a hard void to fill.
In the crabbing hub of Dutch Harbor, questions begin. What caused the respected ship to suddenly sink? And could it happen again? The Coast Guard convenes a Marine Board, its highest level of investigation. Commander Scott Muller is assigned to lead it, and he's come to Dutch Harbor looking for answers.
6 fishermen lost their lives, and 6 families were forever affected by that.
What can I do to help?
Muller meets Scott Wilward, a Coast Guard fishing vessel safety coordinator who's been working in this region for 20 years.
It's a tight community, and everyone knows everyone or has fished with someone.
This was Destination's last port of call, and it's vital to the investigation.
There will probably be things that may give you a picture of what the last days of the Destination looked like. Places that they loaded dry stores, bait, fuel. Did anyone sense that anything may have been amiss with the vessel or the crew? So it's kind of like following a trail of breadcrumbs.
Morning, how are you?
Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Doug Shelton.
One vessel that we were able to get on board was the Aleutian Lady.
The captain is Doug Shelford.
Fellas.
He was on the Bering Sea at the time of the disaster and spoke to Captain Hathaway in the hours before.
I've known Jeff a long time, and he was one of the best.
Then Doug was visibly upset. You know, Jeff and Doug, they may have been the last two people that either of them spoke with that night.
Jeff, how's it going out there?
Hey, Doug. It's going good.
Passing along strategies, passing along information, nothing out of the ordinary. It was basic fishing talk.
There is one thing.
What's that?
You guys bringing extra bait?
Oh, yeah. Got a whole bunch of it.
They were running out of bait up at St. Paul's, so Jeff was bringing extra.
How much extra?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
There was a shortage of bait out of St. Paul. That's the fishing region they were going to be in. So Jeff was able to purchase additional bait out of this fish cold storage facility in Dutch Harbor.
That extra bait was picked up just a few hours before Destination left on its final voyage.
They were here for about a half an hour, between 6:30 and 7 p.m.
Spoke to the manager there, and the manager explained, yeah, they were in here. They collected a few thousand pounds of bait.
They also discover a piece of eye-opening evidence.
There was a video that had been taken of the Destination pulling into the dock. So it was an opportunity to see her loaded in almost her final loaded condition. When you see a video of a vessel that you know was taken moments, hours before what turned out to be its final voyage, it's a very strange feeling.
When Destination first pulled into the dock, it was already carrying loads of bait in its freezer and on a deck stacked with 200 crab pots. Near the end of the video, investigators catch something that takes them by surprise. They see the ship's onboard crane loading more than 3,000 kilograms of extra bait directly on top of the crab pot stack.
It's a lot of weight up on top.
Adding weight high on a vessel, that's never a good thing.
When you load heavy weight on board a vessel, you want to keep it low and centerline as possible.
The extra weight on top would raise the vessel's center of gravity, making it less stable in ocean waves.
Stability is probably one of the common denominators in every vessel sinking and capsizing.
Around 7 p.m., Destination pulled away with just over 3,000 kilograms of bait on top of its stack. Did the extra weight up high somehow trigger the disaster? Investigators need to find out. Video evidence has given the Destination investigators a disturbing clue. More than 3,000 kilograms of bait loaded high that could have made the ship dangerously unstable.
That's a lot of weight up on top.
This was the exact opposite of conventional stability wisdom to load that weight so up high.
They want to know if it went to sea like this.
We were traveling around Dutch Harbor to try to figure out the steps that the Destination had taken.
They learned the crew made one more stop for dinner before leaving Dutch Harbor.
Went down to where they were tied up, paid them a visit, and caught up with everybody.
Dylan, heard you're here. Yeah. Nice to see you, man.
Dylan was a crew member aboard the Destination for 6 years, but this season he's been working on another boat.
I got to hang out with my brother, ask him how he's doing, and if you need anything, if you need any gloves or rain gear.
Right, little brother always looking after me. No, I got my own stuff. I'm good.
We just kind of caught up, gave him a hug, and told him I loved him, and parted ways.
It's the last time Dylan would see his brother or any of his former crewmates. As for the bait, Dylan doesn't recall seeing where it was stored that night.
We asked Dylan, do you ever recall Jeff loading bait on top like that? And he said once or twice. It's rare.
Former crew member Patrick Gaffney is convinced they would never have left it there.
In my opinion, it was just rested on top of the crab stack just for temporary, kind of get out of the way so the next boat could come into the dock and get their supplies.
Easy!
And then they'd take it from on top of the crab stack and secure it down on the deck of the boat where it's not moving around on the open ocean.
With no way to prove the extra bait was on top of the stack when Destination headed out onto the open sea.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The investigation has to consider other possibilities. Veteran investigator Jim Gillette has also been assigned to the team.
We wanted to know, why did this happen to the Destination and not the other vessels that were up there? So we started gathering a game plan for evidence.
Forecast for that day, winds from the northeast.
They examined weather forecasts for the morning Destination went down.
The Bering Sea, it's rough. It's bad weather, and it's extremely bad weather. You could see 30, 35, 40-foot seas, hurricane-like type winds. Very extreme weather up there.
25 knots, waves up to 8 feet.
Pretty rough, but nothing these guys haven't seen before.
We didn't see any kind of weather pattern that was extreme. I didn't think these conditions would sink the vessel.
Let's take a look at the AIS.
Investigators don't have a wreck or any survivors, but they do have a detailed record of every move the ship made throughout its journey.
AIS is Automatic Identification System. Transponders on a vessel will broadcast a vessel's position and display it on a map.
They trace Destination speed and course changes, looking for any sign the ship is having trouble.
Leave Dutch Harbor on the 9th, just before midnight, and head north. They'd slow down and change course twice. Here for 10 minutes and here for about an hour.
The tracking data shows Destination slowed down and turned into the wind twice.
Maybe they're working on something?
It's common practice. They might turn into the seas, slow down. That way they can work on deck. We were wondering if they had mechanical issues or any kind of flooding.
Then, in the final minutes of the tracking data, they see the disaster unfold.
Go back.
On the AIS, what we saw was the vessel take a hard starboard turn.
They see that at 6:10 in the morning, Destination suddenly made a hard right turn and went into a bizarre 256-degree spin.
The motion of the vessel continued on, but it pivoted.
It's pretty shocking to see a vessel behave like that.
3 minutes later, the ship's emergency beacon goes off. Then its AIS signal suddenly disappears.
That's the moment that 6 people lost their lives.
Seeing the final moments on the AIS is heartbreaking. You think about the crew, you think about the family.
What happened to those guys?
Whatever it was, it happened fast.
The AIS data has only deepened the mystery. Something must have caused Destination to spin in its final moments.
Maybe something mechanical?
Searching for answers, they meet with Destination's owner in Seattle to find out more about the vessel's history.
Thank you for having us.
No problem.
The meeting with the owner is extremely important. He purchased the vessel, he fixed the vessel, he picked the captain. He was an involved owner.
It's all here. Invoices, receipts, plans.
So we wanted to know about were there any known issues with the vessel, any known mechanical problems? How was the vessel maintained in the past?
Something in the ship's maintenance history catches their attention.
Looks like you had some work done on the steering.
Yeah, that's right. We had it done last summer.
We learned that the rudder would stick hard over to one side.
Destination had experienced a problem with its steering system that would cause it to turn hard to one side, like they observed on the AIS tracking map just before the vessel sank.
Steering was definitely on our mind. They had taken a hard starboard turn, so there may have been steering issues.
They had problems in the past with their steering. Maybe it happened again.
Did a problem with the steering system trigger the sudden turn? And did that turn somehow cause the Destination to sink? Investigators are determined to find out. Investigators have discovered the fishing vessel Destination experienced problems with its steering system in the years leading up to the accident.
How you doing?
They questioned mechanics who worked on the vessel to see if there might be a connection.
Could you walk us through the work that was done?
Former crew recall struggles with the boat's steering in the past.
The rudder's controlled by hydraulics, and it was getting a little older. If the rudder jams, it could cause the boat to turn hard over to one side or another to make the stability of the boat jeopardized to potentially flip it over.
She's not responding, Larry.
The most recent incident occurred about a year before the tragedy.
Yeah, we took the whole system apart.
Mechanics found small particulates of contaminant in the hydraulic system that would have caused the rudder to malfunction.
Steering systems are closed systems. If for some reason you get like debris in it, it will cause like a sticking action.
Basically, it's a complete teardown and rebuild of the steering system.
They actually did significant overhaul and repairs to the vessel's steering system. They tested the system, and for all intents and purposes, it was almost a brand new system that was operating correctly. Is it possible that it had a steering failure at that time? Sure, but highly unlikely, especially given the extensive repairs it just went through.
The steering appears to have been fixed, but investigators want to know more about the ship's overall condition at the time of the sinking.
Thank you.
No problem.
We need to take a closer look at the changes they made to this ship.
They dig deeper into its past.
We wanted to know about any modifications or changes to the vessel's structure since it was originally obtained.
Destination was built in 1981. 11 years later, it was modified to make it safer for work on the open sea.
They decided to widen it and expand it.
The ship was lengthened by more than 5 meters and widened. A solid steel bulwark was added to shelter the forward deck, and a bulbous bow was installed to make for a smoother, more fuel-efficient ride.
Anytime a vessel adds metal, things like the bulbous bow and the bulwark, it's always a concern.
All of these changes added a lot of extra weight to the ship.
We wanted to know, did any of these changes affect the stability of this vessel?
According to Coast Guard regulations, that calls for inspection.
The vessel owner is required to hire a naval architect to evaluate any changes to the vessel's stability.
This kind of evaluation is used to update a ship's stability book.
The stability book helps assist the captain in making good decisions on loading his vessel. What's going to keep the vessel stable? How he would load the vessel and how many crab pots he's able to carry. Basically, it's like a guideline for the captain to keep the boat stable.
Looking at Destination Stability Book, investigators find something alarming.
This stability report was done more than 20 years ago.
The stability book was written back in 1993, and it wasn't accurately updated.
That's long before any of these changes were made.
Destination had undergone significant modifications over the past 20 years, but a fully updated stability test was never done. Investigators are now concerned the untested vessel may have been top-heavy and unstable. But they need proof.
We needed to see what they actually had on board.
Their chance comes almost 5 months after the sinking, when an unidentified wreck is found not far from Destination's last known position. The Coast Guard moves in to investigate.
Okay, here we go.
And launches a video-equipped ROV.
The depth of this mission was beyond our capabilities for diving, so that's why we had to use the ROV.
Petty Officer Adam Harris guides the ROV 78 meters down to the sea floor.
Our hopes were to positively identify that that was the fishing vessel Destination, see how many crab pots were on board, how much bait was left, to see how much weight was on that vessel at the time that it went down.
It's proving to be a difficult operation.
There was surface current, and then there was also, once we got below about 100 feet, there was definitely a current that was ripping through down there too.
The ROV struggles forward.
We saw a lot of line, debris. We saw the keel of that boat as we drove up and over it. We saw the Destination on the side.
Destination. This is it.
There's a lot of things that are going through your mind at that time. To see a boat that had such a horrific event happen to it struck a little bit close to home what happened that day.
5.5 months after the tragedy, Destination has been found. Investigators hope it will reveal what sent an experienced captain and crew to the bottom of the Bering Sea. Investigators are about to get their first chance to probe the wreck of the Destination.
The team wanted to rule some possibilities out. Suppose there was damage to the hull. Maybe there was a hole or some kind of hull breach.
They're looking for any clue that might explain why the ship suddenly sank.
We were looking to see what the condition of the pilot house was. Was the pilot house open, closed? Was there anything in the pilot house? The position that the throttles were in.
The evidence they're looking for is in reach. But the powerful underwater current is making the ROV difficult to control.
I think we're gonna have to bring it up.
It was frustrating because you want to move forward, you want to get all the information that you can, but if we snagged our ROV, then we possibly lose our ROV.
The ROV was unable to take enough imagery for us to analyze.
Before they abandon the mission, they spot something.
Oh, this must be crab pots. See if we can grab one.
A single crab pot is lying not far from the wreck.
They used a large grappling hook and were able to snag a crab pot. Luckily, the mission was not a complete bust.
When it's measured and weighed, the results catch investigators by surprise.
We knew from the stability book we were expecting a 700-pound crab pot.
The pot weighs 381 kilograms, 63.5 kilograms heavier than the weight used to prepare the ship's stability book.
We were a little stunned at how heavy it was.
Destination was carrying 200 of these pots when it set out on its final voyage.
That's tons of extra weight.
We learned that crab pots themselves have changed drastically from the 90s. They're much heavier. And if they're not considered when you're doing your stability, it adds a problem.
Destination's crab pots were more than 5 tons heavier than its stability book allowed.
We don't know if the captain knew about it. We don't know if the owner knew about it.
It's the latest revelation in a disturbing trend.
You have this bulbous bow, you have new steel work up top. And over time, all that additional weight, seemingly insignificant, but collectively has negative ramifications to the vessel's stability.
Investigators now believe Destination was dangerously top-heavy, but the ship had made the same voyage with a similar load many times before. What was different the night of the accident?
We reached out to other agency partners.
The Coast Guard team meets with National Transportation Safety Board senior investigator Michael Carr.
Shall we get started?
He's been leading the board's own investigation into the disaster.
The NTSB and the Coast Guard both share jurisdiction for major marine ship accidents.
We establish our findings separately, but we do collaborate in collection and analyzing information.
One of the biggest dangers on the Bering Sea is icing.
Icing was one of the hypotheses we had. You have a vessel that was afloat on a course and it just disappears. So it lost its stability quickly. And one way that can happen is if you've got a lot of extra weight on your ship, and that extra weight can come on through the accumulation of ice.
When air temperatures drop below freezing, tiny droplets of cold ocean spray will freeze to a ship's surfaces. Over time, this ice can accumulate.
As the vessel goes through the waves, water droplets fly into the air and then cover anything. The ice will cover the rails, the deck, the crab pots.
Just hours before the sinking, the National Weather Service in Anchorage issued a forecast for the area, warning of freezing spray conditions.
Our current models predict icing conditions, but they don't tell us how much ice actually formed.
To get the data they need, investigators turn to Memorial University in Newfoundland.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Saeed.
Dr. Saeed Dehani is a thermofluid mechanical engineer who specializes in sea spray icing analysis.
I'm going to send it to you. You guys see that?
They needed to calculate the potential amount of ice that can be accumulated on that vessel.
In addition to wind, temperature, salt concentration, and wave height, Dehani's model uses a ship's structure, the material it's made of, how it's loaded, and the relative wind direction to calculate the rate of icing.
We calculate ice accumulation at every step of her journey.
They could look at the heading of the boat and the course of the boat and give us an idea of how much ice would accumulate in 15-minute segments.
Using the AIS data from Destination's voyage, Dehani calculates how much icing it was experiencing.
You see, the first part of the voyage, everything was fine.
As the Destination enters the final hours of its voyage, ice accumulates.
Wind is boosting icing. Temperature helps icing. The movement of vessel actually increased icing.
In particular, the crab pots collect a lot of ice.
Because of their structure, a stack of crab pots not only collects ice on the outside, it also fills up on the inside.
In the Bering Sea, they often refer to the crab stack as the ice cube tray.
Here, at the time the signal is lost, the ice accumulation is massive.
My calculation shows that Destination experienced about 92 to almost 150 tons of ice.
There's a whole bunch of weight you didn't have before, and it's way high up on the vessel. The center of gravity is raised.
With that much weight, she could have gone over in an instant.
Investigators believe icing was the final factor that pushed the already top-heavy Destination over the edge.
then we believe water surmounted the vessel, and then the capsizing began.
They froze up and sank. It was like that. That's so scary.
With another crabbing season about to begin, investigators are concerned other ships could be in danger. And they need to warn them before it's too late. A new crab season is starting on the Bering Sea, and investigators are determined to prevent a repeat of the destination disaster.
Non-icing conditions, icing conditions.
Scott Wilbert returns to Dutch Harbor to warn captains about the dangers of icing and let them know that their gear may be significantly heavier than they think.
What does the rest of the fleet know about the gear they have on board? We took an initiative at purchasing some heavy-duty load cell scales and do a sample weighing of pots on every boat we go on.
Wilbert compares the actual weights with the ones listed in the boat's stability book.
Almost across the board, all the pots we weighed were heavier than the stability instructions were written for. That's tens of thousands of pounds that aren't accounted for that vessel to be carrying. We recorded 3 or 4 weights and showed them to the captains, and they were very surprised to hear that the pots weighed what they did.
The destination tragedy shakes up the Alaskan fleet.
Everybody they felt their own mortality. You know, if it happened to Jeff, it could definitely happen to me.
We started carrying less crab pots on our boat. People were a little more cautious. Coast Guard was coming down inspecting a lot more boats. You teach that to the next generation and say, things happen out here, don't forget this.
The Coast Guard and NTSB issue their final reports on the destination tragedy. Though different, they both outline the same tragic set of circumstances. A ship with modifications that were never properly tested for stability, extra bait, and crab pots much heavier than expected.
200 with the actual weight was too much for their vessel.
Finally, extreme icing conditions that pushed the top-heavy boat over the edge.
All those factors accumulated at that one single spot and time.
The Coast Guard issues a series of recommendations, requiring more vigilant stability testing on fishing vessels.
One of the key safety recommendations was to confirm the actual weight of those crab pots on board.
And then also follow the stability report, make sure that it's updated, that it's accurate.
And the NTSB posts an important warning about the dangers of icing at sea.
The NTSB published a safety alert, and the safety alert was the NTSB saying, be alert to ice, get rid of the ice.
At the end of the day, all you can really hope is that somewhere somebody took heed, somebody looked at that situation and said, hey, that could happen to us.
Water is a real connection that, of course, Larry and I have always had. I built a fountain that when I go to, I see him. And I have rope from one of the vessels as my railing. And I can touch that rope and I feel electricity coming through me. He always was happy, always smiling. Larry O.
The destination, that was the only boat I ever wanted to crab fish on. Working with Jeff and Larry and the crew, and that was what made it enjoyable. Just great hearts on them and love to work and have a good time, and just normal, ordinary guys, you know, just out there trying to make a living for their families.
I do believe that this was preventable. Maybe some guy who's just getting into the industry will watch this and learn about what can happen. Hopefully these guys won't have to die in vain.